Wow, guys, welcome again. Gunning to Old Trafford with your host, Shady and Ibrahim. And as you guys can see, on the hot seat, but at home, we have none other than Yannick Wombo. Ibrahim, I'm going to pass it over to you, and Ibrahim's going to give us a beautiful introduction. Yannick, amazing to see you.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, guys, super stoked to have Yannick on the channel. Yannick and I go back, many years. We started working together, couple of years back, I think, Yannick. I'm not going to say how far because we'll show our age. Yannick is a massive football fan.
Wow.
I've never seen, in South Africa specifically, a Real Madrid fan as big as Yannick
Oh,
Wombo.
man.
Apart from football, Yannick is also a avid sports person, loves sports all round. Former rugby player, in his youth days, played massively. Semi-pro, I would say, Yannick. Yeah, semi-pro
Definitely.
rugby. And Yannick actually introduced me to a few Springboks. So when we worked previously,
Amazing.
the Springboks used to come to the hotel at Melrose at Monte Casino, and Yannick was like all bras with them on first name basis,
Oh,
and he
well,
introduced me
Yannick.
to a few of them. Outside that, Yannick is doing amazing work in Africa, in developing sports on the continent. So big up, Yannick. Love the work that you're doing. And I'm glad that we connected, and have this relationship that we do.
Awesome.
Yannick, when we started this channel, I reached out to you a while back and we spoke about this and finally getting to meet. We have our segment called the fan segment, Yannick, and today we have someone outside the Premier League, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yannick is a massive Real Madrid fan, as you
Oh.
can see. So Yannick, I'm gonna
Amazing
go.
stuff.
I'm gonna jump straight in, obviously, with the topic that's on everybody's mind at the moment. Cristiano Ronaldo, the interview, and the termination of his contract. Your thoughts, small thoughts on that, and the possibility of maybe reuniting with Real Madrid with Benzema being injured and stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Abdul. Thank you, EB. Appreciate it. Glad to be on your show. Look, Cristiano, 37 years old, still playing top flight football. He's given us 20 years of great football. We should be blessed to be in this era, having to witness such a great player. I think it's unfortunate what happened between him and Manchester United, but I also think it was a very sad ending.
Yeah.
The fact that he mentioned that he was en route to go to Man City, which I think would have been ideal, but obviously with the relationship with Manchester United, relationship with Alex Ferguson, it was just the perfect match, the perfect companion to come back together. Yeah. So it's very unfortunate, but I think it happens, in football. He's been to a top club. He played 9 years at Real Madrid. Real Madrid, 9 years, he won 3 back-to-back Champions League. He went to Juventus, who was a club on the come up. The amount of money the family Juventus have invested in Juventus, the top of players that they've brought in. You've seen they've won 5 Serie A back-to-back. They're on route to try and compete for the Champions League. So it's very unfortunate, but I think coming back to Manchester United, he's got so much experience, and he's seen so much. He was 19. How old was he? 20 years old when he came to
18,
Manchester.
18 years old when he came to
18.
Manchester United.
Imagine, he's 36, 37, coming back. He knows so much. He's got so much knowledge. He experienced so much. So obviously, I think he's allowed. A guy that's given football 20 years of great football.
And at the highest level.
Absolutely. So I think it's unfortunate, but look, it happens in football. A player will always be a player. The club will always remain the club. You know how it is. So that's really for him coming to Real Madrid. I don't think he will return to Real Madrid. I think Florentino Perez did the best business in football, having Cristiano Ronaldo for 9 years, selling him just in time to recoup the 190 million we spent to get him in, and that 90 million we see it now with the youngsters that we have, the
Exactly.
quality of youngsters we have. So it's good business. I don't think he's going to come back, but I think he will always be a legend at Real Madrid. But you know, Real Madrid, we have so many legends.
Yes, yes.
100%. And I think
True
I
that.
think you hit the nail on the head
Nail
on
on the
that
head,
one.
yeah.
Just before Abdul comes in with his questions, Karim Benzema, and so obviously we've touched on Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Since Ronaldo left, everyone worried that, there might be a gap in your attacking lineup. But Benzema just, stepped up and obviously, took it to the next level. And he was rewarded with the Ballon d'Or. And no other footballer could have said that this year was our year. Benzema deserved it. Just your thoughts and how unlucky he is missing out on the World Cup.
Yeah, man, it's sad. I mean, he missed out on 2018 when we won the third Champions League because of his relationship with the coach, with the French coach. And he's picked up after Cristiano left. And look, I've always rated Benzema. I've always known that, look, even when Ronaldo was giving us 50, 40, 80, 60 goals, he was always on 30.
Yeah.
True that.
And
Yeah.
probably the other 20 he was giving it to Cristiano. You know? So he was always at that level, but you got to understand who was the biggest star at the time. And also the marquee player for Real Madrid, marquee player for Champions League, marquee player for UEFA. So I've always rated him. So I think even Zidane said something very important. He says he was always that sort of player. He was always going to rise, you know. So it was his time. It's just unfortunate injuries. It happens. And maybe he's also, I mean, maybe this Ballon d'Or is a blessing in disguise because if this injury happened a year before, I mean, we wouldn't have achieved what he's achieved. But I think, I mean, it's unfortunate. But I think the French team in general have so much quality and depth in the squad, in the group, the generation that they have right now, that they won't miss him that much. But I do think that he would have had more hunger because he knew that he missed out on 2018.
Exactly.
So
when they
he
won
would
it.
have had that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think also on the point of Benzema, the French are spoiled with so much choice that even losing Benzema, they didn't bring in another player to come and fill the void, right? Because they've got the talent within the current squad, which is testament. We were talking about it
and
earlier.
Martial is coming up. Martial, your boy.
Yeah.
Martial.
Oh, Martial.
Yeah, he didn't
He's in
get
the
called
French
up.
team, eh?
No, he's not.
He's not, but he could get a call up with the injuries.
Now the coach said
he could get a call up.
Yeah, I think if one or two more injuries, but I think the coach said that he's not going to bring anybody in.
Okay.
Hernandez got injured yesterday, so maybe he's going to now. The squad is getting a bit thin.
And you guys know, just a quick one, maybe this was the first World Cup where they were allowed 26 players on the squad. Normally it's 21, if I'm not mistaken. 23. So an extra 3 players. So he doesn't really need to. So
Okay.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Abdul.
Yeah. So Yannick, so excited to speak to you, Real Madrid supporter. We always talk about the Premiership a lot. So my first question for you is, you guys had the cream of the crop, aka the Galacticos. What was your feeling growing up, just watching these guys? If you go from the goalkeeper right up to the striker, they were gladiators, they were Galacticos. What was your feeling at that time? I mean, Real Madrid were unstoppable. They're the best of the best. So as a fan growing up, watching these guys going head to head with the Barcelonas and stuff and really, really, really dominating La Liga and Champions League football, what was your feeling?
Abdul, I won't lie. My first experience of international football, I used to watch a lot of Serie A. I grew up watching Serie A. My first big star that I used to watch was Roberto Baggio and George Weah at that time. And those were like my era, If you tell me about Parma and Fiorentina and all those guys, Batistuta, that was my era, early 90s, mid 90s.
Oh, Gabriel Batistuta, what a player.
But I remember a lot of them, even during the time of AC Milan dominating the Champions League, everybody used to speak about Real Madrid, but I didn't have access to La Liga and the Champions League, the TV, we weren't televised unless you watch a final here and there, but everybody spoke of Real Madrid. And for me, the first experience I got of Real Madrid was the 97 Champions League final between Juventus, which they lost. I remember that one very specific because that was probably the first Champions League final I watched. And Juventus had Del Piero, Luca Vialli. They had
Wasn't Zidane at
Trapattoni.
Juventus at that time?
Yes, he was there. He was there.
He was there with
And
a little bit more, a little bit more hair than what he's got now. Am I right?
yeah.
What a
Absolutely.
player, Zinedine Zidane. What a player.
So
What a player.
after that, I just continued watching Real Madrid, and I started learning and reading about their history, you know, and all the great players they've had in the past and all of that. And that's how I fell in love with the club. I mean, as you know, when you gotta be confident, and when you gotta be confident, you gotta support a very strong team.
Yeah, true that. Yeah,
So when I get into debates with guys, you know, they're like your Manchester United guys, your Arsenal guys. I always brought up Real Madrid, and I knew there was a division.
I mean, Yannick and I used to have a lot of those debates and discussions over lunch at work. Yeah.
Okay, and Yannick, you know, Manchester United supporters always talk about the quadruple, and what a, I mean,
the treble.
I mean, sorry, I was going to give you guys a quadruple. Sorry, the treble. What a great achievement. Us Arsenal supporters till today, they're invincibles, you know.
Yeah.
But as a Real Madrid supporter, the La Decima.
La Decima.
I mean, that's 10. Not 3, not 1, 10.
Yeah.
10 cups. I mean, that's totally amazing. I don't think any club can really reach there anytime, well, in the near future. So what a great achievement for Real Madrid.
They waited what, 9 years, because they won the last one they won was 2003, and then they got La Decima 2014. So they waited a good number of years to win that. But big clubs are about that, you know, and that's what I feel about Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United. There was no project at Manchester United, really. You know, Real Madrid, you enter Real Madrid, they'll tell you, listen, yeah, we want to make 15, we want to make number 10, we want to reach number 20, you know, and this is how we're gonna. And Manchester United, the time, I mean, at his age, especially at his age, he needs to go to a club where there's a project, where he's going to add.
The blueprint,
you know?
there's something there, you know?
Exactly, you know?
You're
so
right.
at Real Madrid, there's always a project. This current generation, they're playing for number 15. And Ibi, this is what I'm going to tell you. After we win 15, we're going to step out of the Champions League. You guys can play in the Champions League. Whoever wins, then you play us.
Okay. Yannick, you're going to give us a chance. And we'll play you guys with a super cup after that. Right? We need a Champions League desperately. So yeah, give us a chance, man.
So Yannick, I'm just going to step back a bit, right? Obviously, La Decima was amazing. But, you know, in the 2000s, you know, when you had the modern Galacticos, do you feel that Madrid should have achieved more than what they achieved in that era? I know they did well in La Liga, but, you know, from a Champions League perspective, like you say, there was a massive drought between 2002 and 2013 or 2014.
Yeah.
Do you think they underperformed? You know, you had the likes of Ronaldo Lima, you had Kaká, you had David Beckham, you had Luis Figo, Zidane, Roberto Carlos. I mean, and the names just
go on,
Casillas in the polls, and the names just carry on going. Do you think that generation of Galacticos, yes, they were brilliant on paper, but when it came to actually delivering it on the highest stage, the Champions League, they actually disappointed a little bit?
I think they could have achieved more, but you're putting together individuals that have already achieved a lot outside of Real Madrid. So unlike this current group, where Real Madrid is a massive club, I agree with that. But the individuals that came into the club, you have David Beckham, who had won the treble with Manchester United. You had Luis Figo, who had just won who won so many cups with Barcelona previously, the dominant Barcelona Rivaldo. You had, McManaman. You know, you can name the whole group. I mean, but I also feel they didn't have the right leadership, and it's very difficult to coach a team that had 6, 7 Ballon d'Ors in them. You know, if you share the Ballon d'Or, I mean, they were always in the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or, the Real Madrid players at the time. But we had Capello, we had our most successful time was when we had Del Bosque. Now, but Del Bosque is Spanish. He's Madridian. He's from Madrid. He understands the culture. That's why he was able, when we had Hierro as the captain, everything just fell into place somehow. But
What a player.
they lacked. Yeah, they lacked.
The
They
leader, man.
lacked a leader, to make them play. And I think that's probably part of the reason. There's actually I don't know if this is true, but there's a story that there were times when the players would tell the coach, when Capello was there, when they should train.
That's awesome.
The players had so much power, they would tell the coach, "No, we're feeling very tired today. We're gonna do swimming. We're gonna, that's how crazy it
But
was."
I mean, that doesn't work. And no matter how
True.
successful, how big your club is, if the coach is undermined, the football will never be
Everything
brilliant.
falls apart. Yeah.
Yannick, and I think this is a nice segue. And I'll ask you a bit of an Easter egg question right at the end, just to put you on the spot a bit. But I think this is a nice segue into your all-time Real Madrid 11. We're talking about the Galacticos. We're talking about all of the league wins and Champions Leagues, and we're not even going into the last Champions League that you guys won, because you guys are winning it for fun. Recently. So we as United fans talk about the 3 Champions Leagues we won in our entirety. You guys did it 3 years in a row. Boom, boom, boom. So if we look at your all-time 11, Yannick, we usually go for a 4-4-2 flat formation. Is that a formation that you're comfortable with, or do you want to mix up your formation a little bit?
I'll probably go to similar to the Champions League formation that Zidane used, the diamond midfield shape.
So
that was a very
diamond.
special shape. Yeah, 4-4-2 diamond.
Awesome.
With the 2 up front.
Yeah.
The last team that used that was Bayern Munich, and Ajax also used it in '95. The Van Gaal's '95 with Seedorf, the young Seedorf, Davids, and I think So I would definitely go with the 4-4 diamond with the 2 guys up front.
Okay. I mean, it hurts me that they no more, most teams don't deploy the 2 strikers up front. I used to love having 2 strikers up front. Just brings a bit more dynamics to the team. Obviously, nowadays teams are playing more, with their wing backs.
Wing backs, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways.
So, Yannick, this is our black book, the famous black book. All right. So you're going to give us your 11, and once we lock it down, the black book, it's locked down. So we're going a 4-4-2 diamond.
4-4-2 diamond.
Yeah.
And Yannick, every formation that you choose a player, you just give us a small reason why you chose that player for that position, right? So we're going to go into the polls. Obviously, spoiled for choice. From back in the day, we're talking of legendary goalkeepers, all the way through to modern legends, and then the current crop of keepers that are doing really, really well for Real Madrid. So, Yannick, who would you have to lead your defense, from the back? Who's that keeper that's marshalling your entire defense? You need a strong personality there, right?
Yeah, definitely go for Casillas.
Oh, yeah. I would also, yeah. Brilliant.
Had to be Casillas. And I think there's no reasoning why, right? I think Casillas
we all understand. What a goalkeeper. What a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yannick, when we do our defense, we like to do our defensive pairing as a partnership, because we think that spine is really important, right? So we're going to start off with your center backs. And again, spoiled for choice. You mentioned Hierro a little bit earlier. You guys had the likes of Ramos and many, many more, right? So who would be your 2, and they don't have to have played together, they could be from different eras, but who's your 2 center backs that complement each other, that's standing right in front of your keeper?
Do you know, Yannick, just before you give us an EB, I'm thinking about, this is a tough one for you, man, but enjoy it. It's tough, and it's going to get more tough as you go further up the field. So enjoy. I'm looking forward to this.
Abdul, trust me, it's so easy, man.
Awesome. Good.
My 2 center back is Hierro and Ramos.
Oh, yes.
I called it, right?
Oh, he called it. Yes. And Ramos, how can you deny him? He's got the defender of the century, eh? Oh, what award did he win now a week ago? A defender,
yes, 100%.
Some defender of the century, something he won. I don't know what award it was,
Yannick,
but
we'll
he won
debate
it.
that off camera. Today it's all about you. I don't want to get into that, yeah. But anyway, so we've got our center, and I think that's really solid. You know, your spine, Casillas, and your two solid defenders. Right back, left back. Again, spoiled for choice. Left back, I suspect who you're going to go for. But let's start on your right. Who would you deploy down your right, noting that the modern game requires, you know, a player that can run up and come back in time?
I'll definitely go for Roberto Carlos.
On the right?
Yeah, he played on the right, right? He played on the right, and the same position as Marcelo. Marcelo played on the right or left?
Left.
Carlos played on the left, no?
Left, but he
No,
could.
Carlos,
You're right. There were games that he played on his right back.
Played
But I
on the
think he was
right.
predominantly. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It depends how you.
Okay.
You happy. Remember, this is your 11. If you
Yeah,
want to
so for-
put Ramos center mid, you do it.
So it's Ramos and Carvajal, Danny Carvajal.
Carvajal.
So you're going Roberto
Yeah.
Carlos on the left and Carvajal on the right.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Carvajal, I always believe he's always been our MVP, especially when the tough gets going. When we go to that quarterfinal, those tough semifinals, he somehow has extra tank. So
You're right.
yeah.
Marcelo doesn't make your team. Ooh, tough
Yeah,
one.
no.
Tough one.
Shoo.
Perfect. Now we're going into midfield. You know the midfield you said for a diamond. So who's sitting? Who's sitting at the base of your diamond, looking after your defense? You know when that quick counter comes, who's marshalling the defense?
I've got a feeling. Let's see if I'm right.
That's Makelele.
Oh, Claude Makelele. I knew it.
Makelele.
Oh, what a player, man!
Had to be
What a
him.
player.
Had to be him.
Just on that note, Yannick, I don't know if you remember. I mean, I hate his name now, man. The understudy to Makelele. What was his name? He even came to the Premiership. No, Lassan. Also a French. Give it to
Lassana
Diarra.
Diarra.
Yes, can you remember Diarra? Also came to England. Also played very well. Decent boy.
Very well. Yeah.
I just never reached the heights of a Claude.
I mean, Makelele also came to Chelsea.
Also
right?
came to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chelsea,
Makelele was almost having like two players in your team in that one position, right?
Yeah.
What an engine, man. What an engine.
He had like a second pair of lungs. They just kicked in and he just pushed through. But a memory that maybe stands out for you.
Zidane described him as, you remember when the X5 came out? The BMW X5 came out.
Yeah.
He says, you have the X5 and you take away the engine of the X5.
Ha!
Zidane,
the X5 is just a shit. Well said, man. Well said.
Brilliant. So you've got Makelele at the base of your diamond. Who's at the tip of your diamond? So we're still looking at your midfield two. So the one in the back and the one right in the. Oh no, let's leave that to the last.
Yeah, you're the two on
the sides. Your left and right.
Right sentiment, left sentiment.
So I'm gonna go for Figo and Cruz.
Ooh,
Figo and Cruz. Wow.
What a partnership.
No, that's absolutely amazing. Figo. Love Louis Figo.
And remember, these players, when they play in a diamond, they're not wingers per se.
Yeah.
They're more compact. So to our viewers, they're more compact and interchangeable, moving, side to side and covering. And then you've got your Carlos and Carvajal, actually the ones that are bombing forward and supporting.
Absolutely. So far, so good. Like it.
Figo, just on Figo, and I know you touched on it earlier. What did you think of when Figo did that unforgivable switch?
Ooh.
Barca to Madrid. Oof.
And there's a brilliant, sorry, just before you answer, Yannick, there's a brilliant documentary on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched it. I've got it on my list, but they explain it. It was amazing. It was, I mean, the fans were
violent.
It was violent. They wanted to kill him, man. So yeah, yes, sir. Luis Figo.
Any thoughts on that? Or you just happy that we made the switch?
I don't think it will ever happen again. No,
never.
But it shows you something about Perez as a president with the vision and the insight that he has. And I mean, to make a promise that you're going to get the best player at the time and just say, look, if you make me president, I am going to bring you Luis Figo. Imagine. what's the Glazers, or I don't know who's the
Glazers will
president
never
or
do
the
that. Let's not
CEO
even
of
imagine the Glazers doing it. Useless owners.
they say, you guys win the Champions League and I'm gonna bring you the brain.
Never.
You
Will
wouldn't,
never
you
happen.
wouldn't, and that's exactly what you're
I mean,
right.
Ferguson used to do that back in the day.
Right.
He had his pick of players, but the Glazers,
Yeah.
not a chance.
Yeah. But I just
We
thought
still
it showed
Glazers
the
out,
genius
Yannick.
of
Glazers
Perez.
out.
No, Perez was brilliant, and the
No,
longevity at Madrid, and to
amazing.
see so many winning teams come out. I mean, I know he
Yeah.
gets a lot of stick, but he's been a brilliant,
Yeah.
not owner, director, I would say, right?
President, yeah, absolutely.
President, yeah. So let's move on swiftly. I know we're running out of time. It is a bit late. So Yannick, we've got Cruz and we've got Luis Figo. Who's at the top of your diamond playing behind your two strikers?
It's gotta be Zidane.
Oh yes.
Zizou. He wrote it in before you wrote it.
There could only be
Before
one.
you said it.
Yannick, there could only be one. Zinedine Zidane.
Yannick, if you didn't say Zidane, we were closing the call now.
Yeah, no. Zinedine Zidane. Oh man, majestic, Yannick, majestic play.
Absolutely.
You know, I was telling Abdul, so we're currently doing a World Cup segment, and I was a Brazil fan in '98. You know, and Zidane broke my heart, and it was my first because I was a youngster. My first introduction to Zidane, and the love for Zidane just grew. And I knew you were going to bring up Zidane, and hence I wore the skit where he totally dominated Brazil in the 2006 World Cup. I don't know if you remember that game.
Ibi, you remember I used to wear a lot of Real Madrid and all of them had Zidane. Until today,
all.
it's still Zidane.
Always. Wow.
He's got
my wife still says, is Zidane still playing? My wife still thinks Zidane's still playing today.
He's got the classic, you know, that original Galacticos one when Beckham got there and Roberto Carlos and he got the Zidane. The Betway one. And he's got it with Zidane 5, I think it was, right?
Yeah, number
Zidane
5.
Amazing, man.
Okay,
my wife still says to me, "Is Zidane playing today?" Whenever I'm preparing to watch a Real Madrid game, I say, "No, he's not. He's not even in the club anymore."
And I mean, Zidane didn't just do it as a player; he did it as a coach for Real Madrid as well. So, ultimate legend of Real Madrid, yeah. Yannick, you're going to have a tough time with your front two, but I suspect it's going to be people with the same name. But I'm going to leave it up to you. Your two strikers up front. But it's tough because you've got Raul, you know, there's a lot of decisions to be. Benzema. But who's your front two? I know you went for 4-4-2 diamond, so two strikers up front. Who's leading the line for Yannick's Real Madrid 11?
Abdul, this one was the toughest because you remember we had Van Nistelrooy, Benzema, we've had I mean, we can even
a lot of United legends you guys had, huh?
Yeah.
You knew you was going to bring that one up, Yannick. You knew that.
But I'm gonna like EB said, I'm gonna say Ronaldo 9 and Ronaldo 7.
Oh, Yannick!
You know, we call Ronaldo 9, R9, Mapumpan. You know,
Mapumpis. Mapumpis.
And so we've got R9 and CR7 leading a line. I think that will probably be the most deadly attack you can ever pull together.
Amazing.
If you take them at their peak, it's unbelievable.
R9 in his prime and Cristiano in his prime.
What would he do? I don't even want to think about it.
I think defenses would be scared going against those two.
And I mean, having a Zidane
dictating the
and
play.
Figo behind him. Oh my God.
Yannick, this is an amazing
team, Yannick.
Yannick, what we're going to do, we're going to allow you to bring in 5 subs quickly. Who's the bench? Who's your bench for this team? Who comes on if you're injured? So a backup keeper. We're just going to do a quick fire round. Backup keeper.
Keylor Navas.
Navas keeper. Yes. I mean, Spain put 7 past him today.
How old is he now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but a brilliant keeper.
I thought you'd go with Courtois, but Navas, brilliant choice.
Yeah.
2 defenders.
I'm not gonna go for a defender specifically, but I'm gonna go for Guti.
Oh, Guti, what a player! What a
What are you
player.
doing now?
What a player.
Bring him Guti. I love
Okay,
Guti.
Guti.
Floats.
Guti and Casemiro.
Another
Another
United boy in your team. Okay, and then up front, attackers, midfield or strikers. I mean, whoever you want.
It's gotta be Modric. It's gotta be Modric,
Luka.
man. When
Modric,
Figo is finished, I
definitely.
bring on Modric.
Oof.
Yeah.
Luka.
And then who covers for your strikers if one of them are tired or gets injured?
Then that's when I bring in Benzema.
Oh, what a team.
I'm going to run away here. I'm going to run away, man. Yannick.
I'm not even going to ask you because we normally ask, if this team is playing in the current era, where do they finish? I think this team dominates.
No, don't even.
I
Yannick,
can't even ask.
these guys will dominate the league, man.
Not the league only,
That's the
Champions
Champions
League
League.
and everything.
La Decima.
Yeah.
I love La Decima. So, yeah, what a team.
Yannick, who
What a
coaches this team? Who brings the best out of this team on the sidelines? I know you mentioned Del Bosque earlier, but you guys had a massive array of coaches. I mean, one that stands out for me, Mourinho, who broke that Barca, Barca at their prime. He broke that, so who's the coach that leads this team into battle?
I think the one coach that really, especially because Real Madrid is so Spanish, but yet international.
Yeah.
It has to be Del Bosque. Vicente, because he understands the culture, and he also doesn't let the cloud, the egos to get ahead of him. So I think it's going to be Del Bosque.
A huge personality as well.
Exactly.
So a giant of a man. So
absolutely,
a really good pick.
Abdul, if you just want to run through the team quickly for the audience.
Okay, so we've got Casillas in the poles. Our two centre backs, Hierro and Sergio Ramos. On the right hand side, Cabral. On the left back, Roberto Carlos. In the center of the park, the defensive midfielder, none other than Claude Makelele. On his right hand side, your right centre mid, your left centre mid, Luis Figo and Kroos, the German international. Love it. In front of them, none other than Zinedine Zidane. And Spain's out there. Yannick is going to really make you guys excited. We've got Ronaldo 9 up front and Ronaldo 7. Oh my God.
Brilliant.
Oh my God. Oh my
That's
God.
scary.
Right on the bench, we've got Navas in the pole. Guti used to float with the ball, if you guys remember what his nice pony. Always neat. What a guy. Guti, we've got Casemiro, Modric, and if R9 gets a little bit tired, you know how it is. Mapums, we can always bring one Karim Benzema.
Brilliant.
So what? And Vicente Del Bosque. I think you need a round of applause. That was absolutely amazing.
And Yannick, before we jump, because I know we are running out of time, it's been an amazing honor to have you on the channel. And, I mentioned it to you earlier, the moment you come onto the channel, you become family of Gunning to Old Trafford. And please, the next time you honor with us, it's in the studio and not over Zoom. So Yannick, before we go, last question. I told you I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball. La Liga or Premier League, Yannick? What's the tougher league?
I'm an African boy, and I love flamboyance. I love flair. I love the boys who can hold the ball long enough. If you grew up in South Africa, Dr. Kumalo, your shoes Boucheus, the Daron Buckley's, Shibobos, we love all those things. So it's got to be La Liga.
Okay.
We'll give you that one. We'll give you that
today. But also, man, Yannick, what a privilege today. What an honor. It was absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
And
guys, if you want to see more of this content, make sure you subscribe, like the content, share the content, and hit the bell notification so you get all of the alerts. And Yannick, if for all of you that don't know, Yannick is English and French speaking. Background from DRC, right, Yannick? Yeah. So native French speaker and English speaker. Amazing.
Nice.
So
bonjour.
Yannick, not bonjour. Au revoir. Now, yeah.
Oh, bonjour. Wow, man, love it, man.
So Yannick, amazing having you on. Amazing having you on, and hope to have you with us in the studio. Yannick, tradition, when we end it on 3, We always end with gunning to Old Trafford. So we want you to join us. Abdul will count us down and we hit it.
You ready,
So-
Yannick? Okay, let's do this, guys. On 3, 2, 1. We are
Gunning to Old
Gunning
Trafford.
to Old Trafford.
Thank you,
Yannick.
Yannick.
Thank you, Yannick. All of
Have a
you.
good one,
boys.
buddy. Cheers. Bye-bye.